Hey, what is going on, crypto people? It is the Crypto Siege with another day in the life and the crazy life. That is the digital asset space. Did that just happen? Did the United States just bail out another bank and deem it systemically risky to let it fail? I believe they just did. This is the public bailout. There was some quiet bailouts that it was never reported, never talked about with J.P. Morgan just recently, with Credit Suisse not too long ago as well. Yeah, the bailouts are still here. Now, it's the Silvergate banks of the world, the custodial banks who can't even get up and running. Those banks that service the digital asset space, well, they're letting those go under big time. Caitlin Long is on it. She is up in arms. She is screaming from the rooftops. What a travesty. The hypocrisy is just overwhelming. I told you guys, old money doesn't want you to win. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, you got access to this, what many are saying, the fourth industrial revolution. You got access to this new asset class that is called the digital asset space, in which you and I can compete you and I can participate on a level playing field. You and I get an opportunity in the first time in the history of finance to be able to invest in the protocols, invest at the protocol level. We weren't able to invest in HTTP or SMTP or any of those things, were we? No. And a lot of people weren't able to invest in the companies that built on top of those protocols, right? And accredited investors only. But now we have access to and the ability to invest at the protocol level. And they're trying to take it away. Not all the nations, just this nation. Singapore, UAE, Dubai, looks like the UK are allowing their citizens to participate, embracing this new technology. Just not this nation. Got to pay attention to that. Old money doesn't want you to win. Listen, this is your XRP Ripple daily news in around 0 to 10 minutes. Let's get into it. This is from CoinGecko. The total cryptocurrency market cap is at 1.06 trillion. By the way, for all the new people, that's down from over 3 trillion at one time. 1.06 trillion. It's up 8%, 8.6% in 24 hours. Was this because of the bailout that just happened from the Treasury? We're going to get into that. Interesting to see that. 23,000. So 1.06 trillion for the total cryptocurrency market cap. The Bitcoin dominance is at 41%. And if you want an alt season, that's not a great number. Bitcoin is trading at $23,034. Ethereum is trading at $1,628. Interesting. Bitcoin is up 13% on the 24. It was just at $20,000 yesterday. Ethereum is trading at $1,628, up 11%. And XRP is trading at 37 cents. Let's get into some stuff. So Secretary Janet Yellen goes on national television and says it's because of the depositors that we did this bailout. We have to protect the depositors. Well, aren't the crypto banks that are serving the digital asset space, aren't their customers depositors? Oh my God, let's take a listen to this. If you can stomach this minute and 50 seconds of Secretary Yellen.
With our banking regulators to...
We go now to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen.
Let me say, America's economy relies on a safe and sound banking system that can provide for the credit needs of our households and businesses. So whenever a bank, especially one like Silicon Valley Bank with billions of dollars in deposits, fails, it's clearly a concern. we've been hearing from those depositors and other concerned people this weekend. So let me say that I've been working all weekend with our banking regulators to design appropriate policies to address this situation.
Can you say whether there will be other regional bank failures?
Well, look, let me just say that we want to make sure that the troubles that exist at one bank don't create contagion to others that are sound.
Do you foresee what's happening now as making it harder for Fed Chair Powell to continue with the kind of rate hikes he's indicated he plans?
The Federal Reserve is independent and charged with making judgments about what the appropriate course of action is to address financial risks and also to achieve their inflation and employment goals.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Which means, we do think it's going to be hard for the Fed to do what they're trying to do, because we just did another bailout that ultimately this bailout will be taxpayers' money. Now, they try to say that it's not. This is a joint statement by the Treasury, the Federal Reserve, and the FDIC. The following statement was released by Secretary of the Treasury, Janet Yellen, Federal Reserve Board Chair, Jerome Powell, and FDIC Chairman, I think that's Joseph Grunberg, but don't quote me on that, Martin J. Grunberg. Today, we are taking decisive actions to protect the U.S. economy by strengthening public confidence in our banking system. Yeah, you can't take down the crypto-facing banks if you don't, and then allow for one of your banks to go down. This step will ensure that the United States banking system continues to perform its vital roles of protecting deposits and providing access to credit to households and businesses in a manner that promotes strong and sustainable economic growth. So they've been working all weekend and they realize, hey, this will cause a contagion. We screwed up because remember, this Silicon Valley Bank is regulated. OCC, FDIC, regulators are supposed to be looking in and monitoring the practices of the bank. And it got by. It got by them. The irregularities. It got by them. After receiving a recommendation from the boards of the FDIC and the Federal Reserve and consulting with the president, Secretary Yellen approved actions enabling the FDIC to complete its resolution of Silicon Valley Bank in a manner that fully protects all depositors. Depositors will have access to all their money starting Monday. How? Where is that money coming from? No losses associated with the resolution of Silicon Valley will be borne by the taxpayer. See, that statement is a mistruth. It's a mistruth. We also are announcing a similar systemic risk exception for Signature Bank. New York, which was closed today by a state charting authority. All depositors of this institution will be made whole. As with the resolution of Silicon Valley Bank, no losses will be borne by the taxpayer. You notice how they keep saying that. Shareholders and unsecured debt holders will not be protected. Senior management has also been removed. Any losses to the deposit insurance fund to support uninsured depositors will be recovered by an assessment on banks as required by law. Finally, the Federal Reserve Board on Sunday announced it will make available, here it is, additional funding. The Federal Reserve Board will make available additional funding to eligible depository institutions. That's the other banks that would have gone down if they would have let Silicon Valley go down because of its malpractices. To help assure banks have the ability to meet the needs of all of their depositors. The United States banking system remains resilient on a solid foundation, in large part due to reforms that were made after the financial crisis that ensured better safeguards for the banking industry. Those reforms, combined with today's action, demonstrate our commitment to take the necessary steps to ensure that depositors' savings remain safe. In other words, we're just going to print up some more money and just give it to them. And the taxpayers will, in fact, pay for this. If it ultimately goes back to the Treasury having to do this, right? Federal Reserve is, right? It's going to go back to them. Time for federal bank regulators to get serious, says Caitlin Long, albeit heightened risk in a world in which technology and information move faster, thus enabling faster and faster bank runs at any bank. There is a safe way to bank fast-moving industries to obviate a Fed backstop. Backstop is a nice way of putting it. The unfortunate demise of Silvergate, Silicon Valley, and Signature underscore the dangers facing. Now, this is great. They said they're going to bail out Silicon Valley and Signature. Not so much Silvergate, which was, definitely a crypto-facing spot. The United States urgently needs to put in place safe business models for the banks that bank the fast-moving industries, like that proposed by Custodia. It's Caitlin Long's bank that she's trying to get through, and they are not having it. So that the Federal Reserve does not need to backstop such banks, Custodia proposed to hold $1.08 to every dollar in cash for every dollar deposited by customers. Andrew says, at AP_Abacus says, this was all coordinated, all of it, simultaneous Silicon Valley Bank bailout and an unaliving of Signature Bank. An unaliving. Again, all coordinated. Haley Lennon posted this. New York Department of Financial Services takes possession of Signature Bank. Here it is right here. So the big four U.S. banks, says Caitlin Long, just got a $210 billion Fed bailout. How? Fed's new BTFP facility allows banks to borrow against the negative collateral value shown at par instead of at market value. The big four have $200 billion of these losses. That is the word on the street. It would have caused a contagion. I know there was a guy on Twitter Spaces yesterday, I forget his name, but he was saying that it was going to be bigger than big if they would allow it to happen, and they did not allow it to happen. So the news from Charles Gasparino won't matter. The news from Genevieve Rochdechter won't matter. Companies that have disclosed the exposure with Silicon Valley Bank. Circle was the big one at $3.3 billion. Circle is the parent company of the USDC stable coin. And on the terrorist message really won't matter as well, because Ripple CEO addressing its exposure to SVB, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter because they are getting the big Fed bailout, baby. The big Fed bailout just happened. And Silvergate Bank, the bank servicing crypto firms, is allowed to go under. But because of the hundreds of billions of dollars at Silicon Valley and Signature Bank, that those banks will not go down. They will get the bailout because it would have created a contagion effect. And now, instead of owning up to the fact that they missed the ball and they didn't listen to the alarms that were being sounded off by the people from Moody in reference to Silicon Valley Bank, they're just going to print up more money. And if they're printing up more money to cover it, that means you and I are paying for it. Ultimate bottom line, paying for it. The Fed picks and chooses who they bail out. Bottom line, they're not going to bail you and I out. If we had the mismanagement of our funds, they won't be coming to rescue you and I. So there it is, guys. Listen, this is your XRP Ripple Daily News in around 0 to 10 minutes. I hope that it has been of value to you. If it has, do me a favor, hit that like button so that we can get this channel out to more people. That would be a great, awesome thing to do. We need to let people hanging out on YouTube know the real deal. This, for number one, this is a new asset class being built right underneath their noses, and they have an opportunity to participate on a level playing field. And number two, if you are hanging out watching videos and haven't taken a chance to subscribe, please consider subscribing to the channel so that you know whenever we go live or whenever we upload a video. Crazy, crazy times that we live in, for sure. Absolutely crazy times. All right, guys, listen. I'm going to end this video like I do all of my videos and remind you guys this. Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather that we remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating, or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know, that the battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. Go get it.